Rants at the Movies, a podcast where we rant about films you may have seen at house parties. I'm one of your hosts and jack of all trades, Mono, and missing the last plane out so she's stuck with me for a month is my co-host and master of none, Ciara.
Hooray!
Stuck with me for a lot more than a month, in fairness.
Yeah.
But
in this current situation, yay.
In this instance, yay! But yeah, after all the heat of the last couple of weeks, we decided to do something that might make us feel a little bit more chill and watch a movie that's set in winter in the snow. Huh?
Dave syndrome.
Dave syndrome.
Think it's cold. Brr. It's a blizzard. Black Books. Oh,
yes, sorry. Yes. Dave syndrome. Oh, yeah, that one went straight over my head. My apologies. No, I was just commenting on the fact that we picked a nice snowy movie to try and beat the heat. And we went with...
Also, it's a movie we haven't watched ourselves in a really long time. Mainly because we had a Region 4 copy.
Yeah, we had a New Zealand copy of it. Wouldn't play here. But yeah, no, it had been a long time since we watched it. And I think I forgot how much I enjoyed this film.
Yeah, plus we watched a lot of vampire movies.
Well, in general, we watch a lot of vampire movies.
Yeah.
This is definitely an underrated vampire movie.
Very underrated.
Definitely underrated vampires.
Yeah, very fun history of this film. It was a screenplay that got rejected, that got made into a graphic novel that became quite successful, that then got optioned as a movie again.
Yeah, they shopped it around to a ton of studios and nobody wanted any of it. So they're like, fine, we'll make a comic out of it.
Comic's really pretty.
And then, yeah, it's really good. And then one of the studios that had said no to the original script were like, let's make a movie out of that comic right there.
Yeah. I think being able to see it storyboarded essentially probably helped, because there are shots in this that are very clearly panels.
Oh yeah, and
there's a lot of them that are just their panels lifted exactly from it.
Well, I haven't read the comic, but yeah, you definitely get that impression, all right. But it's not compared to some of the films that we've looked at, it's not super stylish.
No.
I mean, okay, you have a lot of...
Have we actually said what movie it is yet?
Well, I mean, it'll be in the title when people click on the podcast to listen to it.
I know. I'm just wondering, in general.
Well, I was going to when... No, it's gone. Forgotten.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, it'll be in the title. People will know. Okay. It's 30 Days of Night.
Yes. Which actually inaccurate.
Yes, because it would be 67 or 66 Days of Night.
Yeah.
And I assume it doesn't just go dark. And then at the end of the 66 days, bright again.
No, I think it's very similar to when we were up in Karaoke for Johannes.
Yeah.
And it was 72 hours of daylight, but the amount of daylight did dim.
Yeah. No, it wasn't just constant bright or constant dark.
No, it did get a bit dimmer, but then got brighter again.
But for the purposes of the movie, we'll let him away with it.
Yeah.
It makes for a good fun concept.
Yes.
And I think that was one of the things that initially attracted me to it, because I'm pretty sure we saw this in the cinema when it came out.
I'm not 100%. I think we might have possibly seen it on the airplane.
I can't remember, but it came
it was in and around
on DVD while we were in New Zealand, so we probably saw it.
Do you not remember being in Food Town at 3 o'clock in the morning while she trawled through all those DVD discs trying to find it, because I was trying to buy it for you for your birthday?
I don't remember that.
Because you guys were all downstairs on the carousel.
Yeah, being on the kids' carousel toy.
That was when I bought it.
Yeah, but no, I'm 99% sure we saw this in the cinema, and that was what I was like, okay.
We might have.
I like gory films anyway.
Yeah.
But it was more the concept. I was like, oh, cool, vampires literally having a month to hunt down a whole town full of people.
Was this around the same time as Children of Man?
I want to say yes.
Because Children of Man was very kind of graphic and not afraid to show the violence, especially in the final sequence when they're moving through. It's that one camera pan.
Yeah.
And there's parts of this, particularly the camera pan over, that remind me of it. And it doesn't try and gussy it up. It just shows it for what it is.
Yeah, but for completely different reasons in Children of Men and in this. Like, this is
supposed
to be a gory film.
Of a very similar style, visual style. And that, I'm trying to think, it was that kind of like the way movie. Yeah, when was this?
I want to say 2006.
Yeah, Children of Man was 2006 as well. So that was kind of what cinematic styles were.
Yeah, I suppose. I probably paid less attention to the cinematography and stuff like that in this, because for me, this is more of a just fun. I don't want to say silly, because it's not silly, but just like, I watched this for the story and the gore, and to be honest with you, the vampires. I love the vampires.
The vampires in this are fantastic.
for a number of reasons that we'll probably get onto later. But before we dive into it,
yes,
shall we get to a summary a bit earlier this week than we did last week? As a month of constant night draws near for the town of Barrow, Alaska, strange events and accidents seem to be cutting off the remote town from the outside world. But as the sun sets for the last time and she misses the last plane out, Stella is forced to reckon with a living nightmare. 30 days with her ex. Dun dun dun!
Yeah, but see, depending on some of the trash I read, that could be a very wild 30 days of kink. A lot of them have the premise of, oh no, we're snowed in with a hot guy.
Yeah, and I mean, that is kind of one of the larger plot points, certainly at the start, is, oh, this is a couple who have broken
Everybody
up,
in that town doesn't know that they broke up, and they all have an opinion on it.
Yeah, they do. But it's probably one of the parts of the film that I care for the least. Is
also Eben.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a name I've heard before.
No.
I think it's a weird name, but I mean, I don't want to offend any Ebens out there.
Yeah.
So I'll go with it. I'll run with Eben.
Yeah. Also, minor note, Barrow, Alaska is no longer called Barrow, Alaska.
No, it goes by the native name now, which I can't remember.
Utqiagvik. Which I'm probably butchering. If you Google Barrow, Alaska, it will redirect you now. They changed the name of the town to reflect the history of it. It's actually, if you've got a spare 10 minutes, go Google Barrow, Alaska. It's got a really interesting history that's quite old. Fascinating place. Yeah,
I think they just kind of took...
It is the most northernmost American city, and they just took that concept.
They took the idea of a really remote town, really far north, that experiences a lot of dark, because a lot more people live there.
It's roughly 5,000 permanent population.
Yeah.
It was a whaling station. There's a US meteorological post there. It's quite a thriving.
It's a port town as well.
It's a port town. They have a number of festivals I was looking up that were for the ice breaking coming through. And they would have the Eskimo World Championships there, so they do a lot of the national sports, the traditional sports and things. Yeah, no. If you got 10 minutes, go look it up. It's actually really interesting.
If they made it that bit more realistic, specifically if they made it a port town, the movie would have been over before it started, because all the locals would have been like, "Hey, what's that ship coming in?"
Yeah. Looking at photos of it off Google, it actually looks like a really beautiful place in the summer. I don't think I could quite hack the winter. But in the summer, I'd be definitely interested in going to visit it.
Yeah, but that would mean visiting the US. And
yeah,
no.
I know.
Sorry, US, but no, not sorry. Not going to visit you.
Yeah, the idea of it being this remote town that gets completely cut off, because we've all heard of these places in Alaska that you can only fly into, or there's that, what town is it where they all live in, the majority of the town live in one massive apartment building? Because the only way you can get to the town, not by water, is through this one-way tunnel that takes 30 minutes to get to.
Yeah, there's a lot of places like that in Canada and in the US and in Russia, and you've got underground towns in Australia.
Yeah, well, that's because it's so freaking hot. That's where you want to see a vampire film, is in a mine in the middle of Alice Springs.
Actually, yeah, that would be. That would have made a good sequel for this,
Yeah. I'm stuck somehow they managed to make it to the middle of Alice Springs.
Yeah, how they got there, we don't know. But I think that's probably partly why it holds that bit of a fascination for us in particular, because there ain't nowhere fucking around that's that remote. There are remote places in Ireland,
God.
but remote is a relative term. There's nowhere in Ireland that you couldn't walk, I'd say, for more than
2-3 hours.
2 to 3 hours in a straight line without hitting a road or a town. Or the sea.
Well, Bear Grylls once attempted to do an episode here out. I think he was dropped out
in Connemara.
In Connemara, and everybody, all the locals were out just standing there watching him, and they spent, I think, most of their time filming, trying to get locals out of the shots.
Yeah, just piss off. But yeah, there's nowhere in Ireland that's certainly that level of
unless
remote at all.
Unless you manage to get yourself stuck up the Wicklow Mountains or up one of the mountain ranges, that's a different...
That's just getting lost.
You're just going to get lost and it's going to be miserable.
That's not remoteness.
Yeah, you're just going to get lost and be miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing that's if you don't get out, you're not getting out for 30 days.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm sure it's maybe not as drastic as they make out in the film. There probably would be other flights that might come and go. It's nighttime. It's not like the town is getting walled in for 30 days.
No.
They just have night. So
or
planes fly at night anyway.
Blizzardy or anything like that. It's not like the Antarctic outposts where they actually don't have flights in because the temperature drops so low that you can't.
Yeah.
Like, engines don't work.
But again, for the purposes of the film, I'm going to let them away with it. The town is completely cut off, and it makes for a really fun, gross, gory vampire film.
Yeah, I also like at the very start of the film when they're kind of going around doing the rounds for closing up the town for the winter, essentially, and they
what I refer to as Evan's bad day.
Yeah, Evan's bad day. It's the last day of sunlight.
Yeah, he's just going from one shit call to another.
Yeah, but when they stopped to change the town sign and change the population from like 300 and something down to 152.
Yeah.
So you get kind of, all right, this is how many people are supposed to still be in the town. This is, there's roughly what? 10 to 15 vampires?
No, I think it looks to me like there's probably in and around 30 or so. In the scene, there's a scene where there's a whole bunch of them chasing
I suppose
one of the characters in their vehicle.
Yes, there is quite
and
a
there's
few.
a whole bunch of them. And then
they do
in that
focus
beautiful
on
pan shot.
Kind of, there's the three kind of main.
There's
there's a couple of baldy headed ones. There's the
six.
kids.
I'd say 6 to 8 vampires that we get to see up to particular stuff in general. But I get the impression there's
there is in and
30
about
or 40 vampires.
It's a big ship too.
Yeah, there could be way more than that, but I think the most that you ever see would probably be about 20 of them on screen. It's kind of hard to make out, but yeah, enough that they are more than capable of running through this town and destroying it.
Yeah, but poor Evan, having a shitty old day. It's the last full day. Their first call out of the day is to that burn pile.
Yeah, first he finds a pile of burnt sat phones. Then
every sat phone in the place and cell phone and anything capable of getting a signal out has been rounded up and burnt.
Then he finds a pile of dead dogs, and I'm going to gloss over that because I don't really want to talk about a bunch of dead animals.
Basically,
every
sled dog in the town has been killed.
Yeah, then the local helicopter pilot has had his helicopter ripped out.
Yeah.
Well, destroyed as well. And then
he does make a decision when he realises there's a number of things happening. He gets the receptionist of his grandma, who's his granny, but she's the dispatcher of the police station as well, to check with the other two closest towns to see if they've had any problems, because he's like, they're starting to notice a bit of a pattern here. Yeah.
I like that he does. He's like, okay,
check with them.
Three things have happened that have to do with contacting the outside world or transport to the outside world. 1's an accident,
2's a coincidence, 3 is suspicious.
Yeah, and then he meets the stranger.
The stranger, who is weird.
Yeah.
I love the stranger's introduction because he's just standing out on the ice pack. And
I love the stranger.
He's behind him.
Yeah.
And it's just such a stark. And then he just takes off walking. They got huge confidence in this stranger that he's going to get there, not die of fucking exposure, not get lost, not get eaten by a polar bear.
Yeah.
Because he ain't got supplies, he hasn't got a compass, and he's just taking off in a general direction.
Well, I mean,
to go and, basically...
We don't know much about him. He could be a master.
He's the human equivalent of Stitch.
Stitch?
From Lilo and Stitch. Stitch's whole goal is to cause chaos.
Yeah.
So he does that by stealing everybody's left shoe, I think blocking up drains, and making all the traffic lights go red.
Yes. Well, so he's not there so much to cause chaos as he is to cut off the town. Well, cut off the remaining links the town has. Yeah, but he goes in,
wrecks all the sat phones, kills all the dogs, and destroys the helicopter.
Yep.
And seems to be fairly indestructible.
He certainly has no fear.
No, he's completely
because
sticky.
When he gets taken in, he's got a gun pointed directly at the back of his head and a cop trying to arrest him, and he tries to turn and jump the person pointing the gun at him. And before that, he squares up to Eben.
Well, you got
and there's a good half a foot in difference in height between them.
Yeah, and he's quite a scrawny. He looks sickly, and he very much has a drug addict long term strung out vibe going on. He's got the greasy hair and the grizzly face and the hollow cheeks, and he has that weird stringy wild strength kind of thing. Those real scrawny bastards that if they get going are going to just fucking destroy everything.
He's got that bat salt strength.
Oh god, yeah. And the teeth. And the lusting for raw hamburger.
He's basically a dirty hobo Renfield.
Yeah, he is very much the Renfield.
With a silly voice. But I like the voice. It works for the character. Especially when he's kind of switching between...
The taunting?
When when after Evan shoots him in the shoulder and chains him up.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like half sobbing, half like delirious, and then he switches to screaming at Evan saying, "I don't talk to dead men."
Yeah.
I really like the way it's Ben Foster, isn't it?
It's Ben Foster, yeah.
Ben
He's
Foster
in
plays
Pandorum as well.
I would say the three kind of standouts in this are
Ben
Foster as the stranger. Josh Hartnett is actually really good as Evan.
Yeah.
And Danny Houston as Marlowe, the head vampire.
Oh, I
the
love
three of them
Danny
are great
Houston.
in this. But we'll get on to Marlowe in a bit.
Yeah.
But
Josh Hartnett, once he stopped doing pretty boy rom-com roles,
yeah,
I really enjoy him. This was the first thing he was in that was quite serious that I was like, oh, hang on. I quite like this. Obviously, Bun Raku as the gambler. The drifter.
Yeah.
He's fantastic in that. Once he moved away from the likes of 40 Days and 40 Nights and a number of other things.
But the drifter doesn't really have an awful lot to go on. He's just Drifter who comes into town who's a really good fighter and is a bit stoic, and we find out towards the end of the film.
No, but if I hadn't seen Josh Hartnett in this, I would have been like, what the fuck are you doing in that movie?
Well, that's kind of what I was, because I hadn't seen Bunraku when we first watched this.
Yeah.
But I actually like what he brings to the role, because you do feel like, you
he's
get
as lost as everybody else is in this, because from his point of view, you're seeing like little snippets of what's going on in the background, but you're watching him trying to piece it all together with this, and every time he leaves somewhere and comes back, something else has happened. And you're watching him trying to put this together, and you can see kind of through his actions in it, like when he gets her to phone, once he realises that there's something weird going on, he's like, go and check with all of them.
Yeah, and when he has to go
I'm
off, he's like, you take the walkie-talkie and stay in contact with me. And at that point when he's saying that, nobody's died or nobody's been attacked. He just knows some shit's gone wrong. We've got this weird guy in the town.
And then all the cell phone towers go down, and that's when he's like, right,
that's when he goes off and finds Gus.
And he's like, you stay on the walkie-talkie with me because there's something weird going on here. And then when they pick up the drifter as well, and he's talking to him.
But I like the way he's set up. You don't get everything about him thrown at you at the start. You find out, okay, yeah, he's a bit of a community man. Like when he's ticketing Bo and being like, it shows him he's still part of the community.
Gotta love some Mark Boone Jr.
And then I like how you see he's really not used to this level of violence, because he's a small town sheriff.
Yeah.
You know?
They don't have trouble there. Like they're all too busy trying to just survive in these extreme conditions. You see it when he's looking at the dead dogs. He's shocked at the violence, but okay, it's dogs. But then when he finds Gus's head on a spike, he is freaked to fuck. Yeah. And you can see... And when he's driving back into town then, and there's like stuff is starting to go a bit... When he pulls in... Yeah. He's driving through town on the radio... Saying, get back to your homes. Arm yourselves. Load your firearms. Obviously being a town in Alaska, which is, I'm assuming, gets frequently visited by polar bears. Everybody's got a gun. You have to. It's just a method of survival. So... He's doing the sensible thing. Everybody get indoors, load your firearms. There is something going on. And he even admits that. He's like, oh, if you have a Jenny, go home, lock your doors.
Otherwise, go to the diner.
Yeah. Stay safe, stay in groups. And he admits to them all as well. He's like, I don't know what's going on,
but I'm going to try and find out.
Yeah.
And he's
not going to lie to these people.
I think that's one of the reasons why I really like this film and him as a character. Is because he's an everyman. Even though he's a cop, he's still an everyman. He doesn't suddenly, when the vampires attack, he doesn't suddenly know how to kick a whole load of ass. He doesn't suddenly know how to deal with them all. He's shocked by this violence. He's struggling with it. And, his main weapon of choice is an axe. And anytime he has to try and kill anybody with it or a vampire with it, it's a real, dirty affair. It's not clean cuts. It's all messy.
It's a couple of whacks.
He's a proper everyman. I think that's why I like it. And you believe him as an everyman, and you believe him as a community man, as the sheriff as well. And
he's from there, and he's grown up there, and everybody knows everybody, and it's extremely tight-knit. And when he tickets Bo and his reasoning then, because the other deputy is like, oh, why are you doing that? And he's like, well, he lives far out from the community. Giving him a citation every now and again makes him remember that he's part of the group. So he cares about him. He doesn't want him out on his own getting all weird. Yeah. Well, so... getting all weird out there in the fucking tundra.
Well, and it'll force him to come into town to pay off that citation, and he'll have to have some human contact then as well. No good you can't just invite somebody like that out, come out to the local town square dance, because they won't go. No. Fuck it, we've lived in this town for 5 years and we know 4 people in it because we're antisocial bastards.
On a side note, I really want Bo's ski dungaree things
Yeah.
with the zip up the front. They look so comfy.
But I think the only thing that maybe drags Eben's character down, and probably the film at large, is the whole marriage relationship thing with Stella.
Oh, nobody
So
cares.
Yeah, I don't even dislike Stella as a character. I'm just like...
They could even just be colleagues who have some animosity because
Yeah.
she's going off, she's gotten this job with the fire marshals and has to go off. It could even just be a thing like she's the squishy machine lady.
Or she will, no, she could have been like...
she comes through every now and again and he quite likes her but can never quite work up the courage to ask her out, and now she's stuck there.
Yeah.
That would have actually been more compelling.
Yeah, because I think it was like they wanted to have, okay, he's broken up with his missus.
Yeah.
And from her point of view, it seems to be all his fault.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem to understand, he himself doesn't really seem to understand why, because he's like, I thought we were going to talk. And
yeah, oh,
and
you
he's
were
a
back
bit-
in town and he didn't even want to
Yeah,
talk
he's a
to
bit
me.
bitter and cold about it. So if we're
And
supposed to get
everybody wants to know what was
Yeah.
going on. Everybody has something to say
So
about
if
it.
we're supposed to get the impression that it was Eben's fault and it was something that was wrong with Eben, and the actions in this film, then Eben can overcome whatever that fault was, which is kind of, I feel like, what the film is trying to give to us. But we don't know what he fucking did wrong.
Yeah.
So I don't care.
There's a
Whereas
couple
if
of
we had known it was
things
like, you know, he was,
hinted
say
at.
he was really detached, or she didn't feel like he wanted to start a family together, and then she sees how protective he is over the town and his family
Yeah.
in this, and they reconnect.
Maybe
to
she
that,
didn't
fine.
want to get stuck
But
in Barrow.
forever and ever.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
There's
so
nothing.
we don't care.
Yeah, we don't know. So their whole thing, and to be honest, apart from a couple of snipey comments to each other at the start, it's fairly much
You
given
barely
up
even know.
on.
Yeah, once they have that really inappropriate conversation when they're arresting the stranger.
Yeah, not the
They're
time
airing
and
their dirty
place.
laundry in front of this psycho, and
Not the time and place. And I know there's kind of the part of the point of them doing that is that everybody in that diner wants to know, so may as well just
yeah.
have it out in front of them all, because it'll just save questions later. That I think there's an aspect of that. But also, yeah, deal with the psycho guy who you've just had to draw a firearm on.
Yeah, but kind
Who's
of after
face down on the couch.
After their conversation about that, the only other time really that their relationship is mentioned is later on when Eben's talking about like people protecting their family, and she's like, "We were like that once, weren't we?"
Ugh, stop
And
it, I
then-
don't care.
And then towards the end, they're like, "Oh yeah, you can see that they still really do care for each other." But yeah, I don't care. I do not care. If I'd known why they had problems in the first place, I might have cared about their relationship. But I do not give a fuck.
They could have just been close friends, and he was upset that she was leaving. Like that's how.
Yeah,
much...
she was his deputy who got a new job in the fire marshal's office.
Yeah, like that's like as much as
like,
you kind of need.
if you
like
wanted
it's her
tension-
last day. It could have even been like, oh, they could have done the trope of it's my last day on the job, and I'm leaving on this plane to get to Anchorage, and
Yeah.
now I'm fucking stuck here. Like that, it didn't.
Because even her reasoning for not wanting to be stuck in Barrow is fucking weak sauce. I've got
like
bills to pay and my plants will die.
Yeah, I need to
Oh,
get back
no.
to Anchorage. Never mind the fact that you've like lived there most of your life, and you know you can ring somebody.
Yeah.
Like to be more honest, I'd be worried about totaling the fire marshal's
Vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind you, that thing that runs into her,
The
and
trencher.
that trencher thing, fucking hell. No, thank you. I take it it's for clearing roads.
I'm
Presumably,
guessing so.
like looks like something that like will
And-
just churn up everything.
and milling vampires out of it.
Yeah, it is.
But-
It's quite fun.
But Stella herself, I don't mind Stella. I don't hate her. I hate their relationship.
Yeah, it's just kind of shoehorned in there. There's one or two plot points that I just felt were shoehorned in and that were unnecessary or had been going somewhere, and then they decided it didn't work. The other one being Eben's asthma.
Yeah.
Because you see him having a puff on the inhaler at the start. And then there's a moment
So it's set up.
There's a moment later on where he appears to be having an asthma attack and he's lost the inhaler. And you think this is going to be a big, oh fuck, what are we going to do? Because we need to get him an inhaler. He's having an asthma attack, yada, yada, yada. Life peril, blah, blah, blah. And then he just sleeps it off.
He just sleeps it off, and then a couple of scenes later, they're in a general store, and he finds an
one.
inhaler, and it's fine. It's never mentioned again.
And I was like, that's not how asthma works.
Well,
Especially
it
in the
can
cold.
be.
Like when he's having the attack, he's after running through the cold and he's panicked. That's
Yeah.
all going to exacerbate it. But he's just lying there being like,
Yeah, and
like it's not a full on. It's not even a full
No, but
blown.
there are different.
I know there are. I just felt like it. Like,
No,
if you weren't going to make a
100% with
thing
you.
out of it,
Yeah, if
don't
you're gonna
put
make-
it in there.
If it's not going to be a big plot point, if it's going to be something that can just be surrounded by, oh, time passed and now he's
Yeah.
okay, why bother having it in there at all?
Whereas some of the survivors that end up together, one of them, Wilson, who's I think the helicopter pilot,
Yeah, Wilson's the helicopter pilot.
his father, who has survived, has dementia.
Yeah, and that's
that
set up
makes-
earlier and then becomes a plot point.
Yeah,
And quite a good
the
one.
way that's dealt with is fantastic. But so seeing something like the asthma just being kind of there just felt unnecessary.
Yeah, and I don't think they ran out of time or anything because one of the...
It just kind of lost steam.
Yeah, no, but you know, wait, other times we'd be like, oh, maybe there was another scene that got cut for time.
This is a long movie.
It's a long movie, but it definitely didn't get cut for time because, you know, the scene where Dirty Hobo Renfield is actually confronted by one of the vampires.
Yeah.
That was actually supposed to take place at the same time as Evan's brother and grandmother go missing.
Yeah.
But they ended up, they thought they'd have to cut it for time, but they ended up splitting it into two scenes. So they definitely weren't short on time. So yeah, that asthma thing was just it just went nowhere and seemed to be there for no reason.
Yeah, because it didn't bring them closer together. It didn't progress their relationship or anything like that. In fact, when he's lying on the ground having the asthma attack, they're all kind of just sitting there like, all right.
Yeah, nobody's that worried about it, and the next time we see him, he's just asleep, and it's on to the next kind of plot point.
Yeah, magic sponge that one all the way. Apart from that, apart from that, the Evan character, like, you believe that he's a small town sheriff just trying to fucking cope with what's going on.
Well, but that's one of the things I will say about this is there's no real super cliched characters in this.
No, they all have facets.
Even Bo, who you expect to be the kind of just straight badass and won't have time for it. There's a scene where he wants to run off and be a bit of a badass, but they convince him to
we need
stay
you.
And we actually need you, and
we
you
need
realize
you here.
We need you here, and he goes okay, and you realize and that's like a call back to him getting the ticket earlier. Yeah. Oh, Evan has actually made this man realize he's part of the community. Now he's going to stay and protect them instead of... He has
skills that we require.
But he realizes that, no, I am part of this community. And that's tied in nice and well together. And some of the other characters, even Doug, is annoying. Doug is the one who constantly wants to make the stupid decisions.
Ugh. He's a coward too.
He's a coward, but he's never the full cliche or the full coward that you see in other horror films who, like, you know...
Put her in charge!
Well, no, not that, but he's not, like, you know, you expect him to be the one who's going to, like, push another survivor in front of a vampire so that he can escape.
He does do that.
Well, he runs out... No, but I mean literally, like, feed them to it so that he can escape. Paul Reiser in Aliens...
Oh God, yeah, when he locks them all in there and he's like, fuck you.
You could expect Doug to go that far with it, but they never take the characters that far into the cliched realm, and I like that. Doug is the annoying coward guy.
But they all very much operate on fight or flight reactions as well. The way they respond to a lot of the situations they're in the moment, they will respond consistently in the same way, which is nice.
Yeah, their characters are consistent, like.
Yeah.
Like Denise.
Looks terrified for the whole thing, but does have one or two moments of being able to pull her shit together. Yeah,
Denise, you can see Denise is concerned for the safety of others, but her own safety is paramount. Because she runs at the start when her two mates get taken. Yeah. Whereas the one guy gets taken.
Well, the two of them run.
No, the other guy doesn't run. He tries to see what's going on.
And she's like, fuck this shit, I'm out of here.
And then later on, somebody else gets taken and she looks to go back and somebody kind of taps her and she's like, oh, no, yeah, no. Yeah. It's like...
That's when when they're making the break for it and Doug gets eaten.
Yeah, I was trying not to mention who it was. But
who cares?
Well, yeah,
he's not necessary.
There are many... like, it's not a huge cast. I would say... You're Stella, Evan, Jake, and kind of...
Jake's the kid brother. He's 15. He's Evan's kid brother. He's 15. He makes a couple of comments about the relationship as well, but he also has a very sweet relationship with the Grammy.
Yeah, and
you see as well.
He has his own little character arc from being the little brother to towards the end of the film actually kind of standing up and kind of taking over. Well, you feel like he would now be able to step into Evan's shoes kind of thing. Yeah,
he grows up a lot over the course of the month. He goes through a lot.
There's a lot of other characters. There's Wilson and Isaac and Carter, who I really like. There's Lucy, there's Denise, there's Doug, and it's a vampire / survival horror film.
There are characters that you meet that are
going to get taken out. Yeah, but like I said, none of them are super cliched, and I really like that.
Yeah, and it would follow. It's kind of very similar to Dawn of the Dead? No.
Which?
In the shopping mall.
Dawn of the Dead is one in the
The
shopping mall.
where they all end up. It's kind of the core group that make it to the diner.
Yeah.
And that's the group that you stay with. But you've also got to remember that he sent all these people to their homes.
Yeah.
So the assumption is there that there are people hiding out in their homes in attics or crawl spaces or wherever they can be.
Yeah, they come across other survivors.
They have generators.
Yeah.
Because when everything kind of kicks off in total in the town, after they've discovered that Gus has been decapitated and his head's on a spike outside the cell tower, the power goes for the town and all the generators kick in. And that's when Eben and Stella decide, right, they're going to go out and start a sweep of the whole town. Yeah. And they're driving off and they have that brilliant encounter where they get out of the town and they get out of the car and they're looking through binoculars and Stella's just like, get in the car! Get in the fucking car! And she's booting it and then you just see this guy running and jumping onto the top of it and starts pounding on the roof of it. That's fucking brilliant. And he's shooting through the roof and it's screeching and then pounding on it again.
There are some great set pieces in this film. And what I really like about that one is how it starts, because they're driving along. Yeah. And Eben goes, stop the car. And she goes, what? And he goes, stop the fucking car. And they get out and he's looking off into the distance and then
he's all like squinty looking.
He's squinty. And she,
well, but then she does... Josh Hartnett's quite a squinty looking guy anyway, so it's kind of hard to tell if he's squinting or if that's just his face.
But then she does the same thing. He's just done it and she goes, get in the car. And he goes, what? And she goes, get in the fucking car.
Yeah, and she's not even yelling it. She's like, get in the car.
But when they come back to town, that's one of the things that we both really love about the film.
There's a car on fire.
There's already a car flipped and on fire.
The place, like the first time he drives to the town, you can see people milling about when he stops to tell them to all go back home.
And somebody says, we heard gunshots, but we as viewers haven't heard said gunshots.
So there is stuff going on and you've already gotten to little glimpses of the vampires starting to pick off on the
one
outskirts.
or two people, yeah.
So they're slowly starting to infiltrate. They're seeing how much of the infrastructure the stranger has managed to take down.
Yeah, they're testing the boundaries, I think.
So, and then when they're driving back into the town, it's on fire. Windows have been broken. There's no bodies in the street yet.
Not yet.
But it's completely abandoned, and it looks like something has just swept through. Yeah. And that's when they screech back through to the sheriff's station, and when they arrive in there, you discover that it's just the stranger left, and there's big blood trail. Wall. Yeah. And the grandmother and the brother are missing. And then Eben has a bit of a moment.
He does. But that's where
a bit of a moment.
That's where you really start to notice it in this film, that there's a whole lot of stuff happening that we as viewers aren't seeing. And I think it really adds to the film because you are following Eben and Stella around. And mostly, there are a couple of cuts like where you see what the vampires are up to, but mostly, it's Eben and Stella, and you can see as the film goes on, shit's deteriorating that we as the audience aren't seeing, and I really like it. I think it really adds to it.
Yeah, the town's already got quite an eerie feeling because a lot of the population leave.
Yeah, the isolation has already been well set up to begin with.
And the population essentially halves with them all leaving, and a lot of people have boarded up their homes for the month.
Yeah, I think any houses that are completely empty
already has this kind of spooky old abandoned town going on. Like, windows are boarded up, it's snowy, it's dark, it's kind of blizzardy. It got kind of a Silent Hill vibe going on.
Yeah, with the snow and the dark. Like I think I said earlier, it's not a super pretty film, but what they do with the snow and the dark,
it's very isolated.
It builds the atmosphere really, really well.
And it's very, very stark, and all the vampires are very, very stark. The only colour is whatever the survivors are wearing. And they tend to be, because they're all in winter gear, it's all quite bright and vibrant.
They're brighter colours, but they are muted.
The vampires are all white, black, and then it's blood, and then on the snow, because a lot of things have been burnt out, is a lot of black and white and red as well, and it works really, really well as a colour palette.
Oh, it does, but it doesn't go so far as, like, say, Sin City does.
Oh, no, this works really, really well because you've still got hints of blues and browns and stuff like that coming into it. When you look at the vampires makeup is fantastic. They look kind of like clammy
Yeah, they
have that
sweaty,
sickly clam to them. You know, somebody with a fever.
Yeah.
It's that sheen, but you can also see the blue vein tracing, and the eyes are super black, and the teeth look real fucking nasty. They're like the pin sharp teeth.
Yeah.
Must have been a pain in the ass wearing the dentures. They look really uncomfortable, but it also gives them this look where they can't quite close their mouth properly. They're always in a semi-snarl.
It
makes them hold their mouth open in a really, really hostile way. It's like a baring of teeth, like the way, especially if you've ever seen a cat just before they hiss at you.
Yeah.
That kind of look.
They are, and the screeches and the howls are great, and the fact that they have their own language that's very like proto-language sounding.
Yeah,
it sounds like it's an incredibly old language that's not very developed. Yeah.
And that seems to go with the screeching, because you hear where one or two of the townsfolk do get turned, because they do make a point of beheading they're like, behead everybody because we don't want to turn them.
Yeah.
But as they're screaming, and you can hear the screech almost, there's a second pitch coming into the screech as they turn. That brings
you see
up to this.
Yeah, there's one or two
off-putting
townsfolk who you see turn
nails on a chalkboard kind of scratch.
And that's how you know that they are turning, because they're screaming in pain, but then you hear this other scream beneath it.
The double scream coming in, it's really well done.
I really like how animalistic the vampires are, because that screech is... There's a couple of different screeches. There's a screech that's like just general screech, and then there's a screech that's like, I found somebody, everybody else come, we've got dinner kind of screech. And
there's like almost like a warning one as well.
Yeah, and there's like a starting screech as well. It's like, let's get ready to rumble.
They have a whole language going on. I also like the fact that Danny Houston as the main vampire looks the most human.
He does.
Whereas the rest of the girl in particular, I think, is the most bizarre.
The girl
looking.
And the baldy guys.
Yeah.
The girl who's like his second in command.
Yeah.
They look like they've gotten the Brazil facelift.
Yeah, it's very much somebody just grabbed the back of their head and pulled.
The skin
it's Edgar tight. In Men in Black, when she's like, your face is all loose. And he just grabs it off his head and pulls and goes, is this better?
Yep.
Yeah, the way it's all it's like almost like the skin's dry. They're so old that they've lost all their body fat and blood and muscle, and it's just the skin pulled tight back against the skeleton, because she in particular is very, very sharp faced. The nose is really like, she almost looks like a bird of prey. She don't like, especially with the claw hands, but the super sharp nose, the really sharp eyes. She's also got a very oval, thin face that exaggerates this effect even more.
Yeah. I love the way the vampires in this are so... You can't really pin them down, because at the start of the film, they're
super fast too.
The start of the film, they're super fast, and you never really get a look at them, and they're very much like your movie monster, like your xenomorph, or your...
They're crawly, they're using the roofs,
they're
don't
going
see them,
and they take you out before...
under the houses, they're taking people by the ankles, which I love.
Yeah, you're never getting a good look at them, and they are just this like super unknowable thing.
And they seem to give no fucks, because there's that one that cannonballs its way through the kitchen window.
But
the couple that have all the dogs killed, and it just barrels in through the window and then just emerges from behind the table.
Yeah, but you only see a split second of it. You don't actually see what it is that's smashed through the window, and then you just see the top of the head, and then you don't see anything.
Yeah.
And you just...
Until you see her just kind of clawing to the window screaming as it drags her off, and then under, and that's all you see is he's chasing.
Yeah, the best...
You just see bits of her disappearing underneath. You never actually see what's properly got a hold of her.
Yeah, but you get kind of a better look at them when they kill Gus, because you see one of them jump on his neck, and you can kind of go, okay, it's vampires. But up until the full-on kind of carnage happens, they're that kind of, as I said, the xenomorph. They're the unseen danger that just... Yeah. And then once the carnage happens, they're
building up to
this animalistic hunter monster, where they are...
Oh, they're just going for it.
Yeah, they're very animalistic.
It's very like gluttonous. It's very wasteful.
It is very wasteful.
It's okay. It's very cold there. It'll keep the blood.
But then after that initial carnage, you start to see the more sadistic, if you'll excuse the pun, bloodthirsty side of it. And I don't mean bloodthirsty as in they literally
No,
want
the
to
actual
drink
blood,
blood.
not the
They're
bloodlust. This is the revelry in the violence.
There's people getting stabbed through the chest with
pokers.
He
just pins him to the wall while the wife watches and they just laugh, and then he starts playing the record, and that's where you have that beautiful victory shriek where they all join in.
Yeah, he puts this horrible nail on a record.
Oh god, the nails are just really disgusting. I don't know what it is about them. They just... Of all the things of them that look sickly, their nails just really creep me out.
But after that initial carnage, when they're more of the hunters, and you start to see that they're just sadistic. They're using people as bait.
Yeah.
And then
to draw them out, and they're following them on the roofs, which is so nice.
Yeah, and they're drawing out the deaths of people.
And then the taunting of the poor girl who's bait, where she's like, "Oh, help me, God!" And he stops. And I also like the fact that he looks at her like a predator looks at prey, with the head tilts.
Yeah.
And then he starts to look up and around and is like, "Oh no, God?
Nope.
No God."
No God.
And taunting with her, and then he doesn't even kill her. He leaves her to everybody else.
To everybody else, yeah.
I also like the fact that they're going through ransacking the houses, because they do appear to change clothes at points, because they go from being very, very sticky looking.
Yes.
And I mean, a lot of them are not clean eaters. It's everywhere, to actually having fresh clothing on, which implies that at some point they went, "Oh no, I'm too sticky." So yay for basic hygiene, because I'm sure the guys, they do spend 30 days in the same clothes. That had to have been really...
Yeah, the people don't look ragged enough for having spent 30 days.
That was another thing I had. Yeah, there's not enough facial hair and just greasy hair going on.
Yeah.
And just exhaustion as well. If you've spent 30 days on that level of tension
and lack of food and lack of sleep,
lack of proper sleep, lack of food, having to be quiet, it's going to
there should be some more red eye.
There's going to be a lot more of a physical effect on you. You're going to look exhausted. You're going to be pale from having been hiding in attics and general different places. Like you are, it is going to take a toll on you. And I don't think they look wrecked enough.
Billy is the only woman. Billy shows back up at the end of the film, and he's been on his own.
Yeah, no,
he's got really long hair and a big beard.
They should be looking a bit more like the stranger at this point.
Yeah, they should all look like Billy looks.
Yeah.
By the end of the film.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a small thing. It's not a massive...
That's the atypical movie thing of people on desert islands. Like, girls should have, like, everybody's, like, perfectly shaven and the eyebrows are all done and nobody's got, like, big nose hair coming out.
I'd say, unless you're shooting the film chronologically... continuity would be a fucking nightmare then, because you'd be like, right, we're shooting day 18 today, and then tomorrow we're shooting day 7, so you need to shave that beard tonight and take some of that grey out of your hair. So I'll let that one pass. That doesn't bother me too much, but you are right, they should be more grizzled by the end of day 30.
They should just look all a bit more wrecked. They'd like a couple of more bags under the eyes would have been appreciated for just sheer exhaustion, because they're also booting it around the place. They've got a lot of energy for somebody who's been trapped. And
speaking of, so does the movie. I think it's paced really well.
Yeah,
everything happens in kind of 20-minute chunks nearly.
Yeah, it is a long film. I'll give it that.
Just under 2 hours.
It's just under 2 hours, but it doesn't feel it. So you've got initial shutting up the town, stranger coming in.
Say it's 20 minutes.
Then shit's really starting to go wrong. We see the first vampires.
Kind of another 20 minutes.
Sequence.
Yeah.
The beautiful overhead pan shot of the town.
The initial carnage.
Which I love.
It's brilliant. I don't want to go into details about it, because if you haven't seen the
film... Big shout out to the New Zealand Parkour Association, because they were heavily involved in this as the vampires.
Yeah. For that scene in particular.
There's some beautiful monkeys over cars. There's people getting rugby tackled. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the vampires spend a lot of time on the roofs running from one to the next.
Yeah, and pouncing on people and stuff like that. That first sequence is it really, really illustrates it as well, because the music in it's quite quiet.
Yeah.
It does lend to that desolation. There's not a lot of exterior sound.
It's a very quiet film, yeah. They use the score and the sound effects to great effect.
That's one of the only bits I can think that has a score over it, like, because you can see people
the
firing.
The end kind of fight scene as well.
Yeah, you can see people firing, but you don't really hear it. Yeah, that whole thing, and them finding the hiding place in the attic.
Yeah.
Is kind of 20 minutes.
Another 20 minutes.
And that's like the first thing. And then it jumps to day 7.
Day 7, yeah.
And then I think it's like where they send out the girl as bait.
Yeah, it's
and
all
then
broken.
It's day 18 when they decide to move again, and so a few other bits happen. So it's every kind of couple of days there's an event, so it doesn't feel as the vampires' tactics change, and as they're getting more and more kind of cabin fevery. Yeah, and they're waiting on a blizzard to enact their plan, and the blizzard finally comes, and they do this thing.
And yet, none of it is because they move around a fair bit, but it's never really like they're repeating themselves. It's not, oh, we're trying to run to another thing. Each time, you could nearly say each of those kind of 20-minute chunks is based around one kind of main event.
Yeah.
And they're never too repetitive, where it is like, it's like set up, initial attack and outbreak, then it's like survival period, and then it moves from survival period to another kind of thing. And it's just, it's really well paced.
It's like that they're in the house, and then the house is compromised.
Yeah, so they have to move
because the vampires are moving their way through the town, searching all the houses. So they know they have a general plan that they want to get to this other location, but they have to wait on a blizzard because the whiteout condition. They're using it's guerrilla tactics. They know the cold, and they know what it's like to survive there.
And they're constantly adapting their plan and changing their plan as things go on. Yeah, no, it is. It's I don't want to say realistic. It's probably not the right word to use, but logical. Like the steps they make are logical, and like we talked about Eben as a character, they're believable, if not realistic is perhaps a better word.
And you've got the one or two who are like, no, I'm going to do this thing, and they kind of have to get argued down.
Yeah, they're reasoned with, as opposed to just shouted down either. Like
because they're also trying to keep quiet.
Yes,
despite having the attic light on all the time.
Yeah, they do have the, and I know they're only peeling up a tiny little bit in that corner, but if you're outside in the complete dark, and probably with heightened senses, if we're to go by what we see with the vampires, like you would see that. You would see that little strip of light coming out, and there's a bit later where they're flashing torches at one another.
Yeah, no, again, that's
not great.
That's really, really bargaining on the fact that the vampires aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
No, but they make use of their town and their surroundings, and they know the weather, and they know what it takes.
Yeah, because
which is the sensible thing to do. And it's like, right, if we wait for blackout or whiteout, and we go here, and we can get this, and this, and then we can go here, which is sturdier, and we can survive for longer, because they know that they just have to wait them out.
Yeah, and everything is very well set up in this film.
Yeah.
Like the way they do all that, and anything that's kind of a big plot point, like the trencher later on, when the trencher comes into its own, you're not like, where the fuck did that come from? Because you've already seen it at the start. Now, at the start, you might be a bit like, why the fuck is it that thing that crashed into her? Yeah. And then later on in the film, you're like, oh, that's why, and it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Grandma's little home pot farm seems to be a little gag.
Throwaway gag becomes useful.
But then becomes useful as a plot point later on. And all of that works except for the asthma.
The asthma,
Why would you put that in there and then just not?
That's why it bothers me, I think, because everything else
is so well set up,
It's very, what is it, Chekhov's gun?
Yeah, I was going to say Chekhov's asthma inhaler.
Yeah.
Because everything else comes back and is used.
Yeah.
You know? Even the Bo's ticket comes back when Bo realizes, oh no, I am part of this community and need to do, and none of it is like that. Bo just says, okay, and I'll stay. Yeah. Bo doesn't go, I finally realize I am part of this community. You just get that as a viewer, like. But any final thoughts, things you like, things you didn't like about the film that we haven't?
Danny Houston in this is absolutely phenomenal. If you aren't aware of who Danny Houston is, if you watch American Horror Story, he was the jazz man.
He's the Axeman in season 3. Coven?
Is it Coven?
It's Coven, yeah.
He's amazing.
He's Striker.
Half brother of Angelica Houston as well.
He was Striker in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
He's 6'5", I think. He's quite a broad man, and then he's in this long black wool coat in the middle of the Arctic, wandering around with just that and a shirt on. He's very, very similar to Lucifer in Constantine.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Very similar presence.
For me to like just be quick about it.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to our Constantine rant, and everything I said about Lucifer, replace Lucifer and Peter Stormare with Marlowe, the head vampire, and Danny Houston, because I love Peter Stormare as Lucifer. He's one of my favourite versions of Lucifer. And Danny Houston in this is one of my favourite versions of a head vampire. He's just so fucking good in this. He's so sadistic. He plays it.
Taunts are
the taunts he uses. He's
his
just
body
fucking great.
language in it as well. And the fact that he is definitively in charge, you get that from the very get-go. But you never see him being excessive to the other vampires. You know, and even the way he seems to interact with the humans, like, yes, they're food, but when he's taunting the girl, it's not like how you would, like a bully, it's just, you're beneath me.
Oh, yeah.
There's certain ways that he behaves and that mirrors their behavior.
Oh yeah, and he seems to have this contempt for humans.
Yeah.
Because he has that line, I won't give the context for what it is in because it'd be a bit of a spoiler, but he has that line about when man meets a force it cannot destroy, it destroys itself instead.
Yeah.
And he just says, like, so pitiful or so contemptible or something like that. And yeah, it's a nice little line, and it tells you a lot of what you need to know about Marlowe.
Yeah, no, just everything, his body language in it as well, the way he moves is particularly animalistic and very kind of predator-esque head movements with the quick flicks around, the head tilting, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I just the way he manages to balance that sinister presence that's sentient and this kind of animalistic side that the rest of the vampires have, he does it so well.
But then you also see he has this almost contradictory gentleness, particularly when dealing with the main female vampire.
Yeah.
There's almost like a fondness or like a gentleness between them when he's talking to her after the UV light. Yeah. And it's almost like a sadness, and he's like, you understand why this has to happen, and she's looking at him and she's crying, and it's a regret. So it's interesting to see those parts of it, because normally, like, if you've got this kind of vampire that's a mindless, they are, because they could very easily be just have been a mindless force. Chomping machines. Yeah,
just being the animalistic side and not the sadistic and
measured, intuitive, intelligent side. So I think that scene in particular where he shows this regret over having her be injured is really important as well, because even though they look down on the humans as just fodder, they also hold their own society to quite high regard.
Yeah, and he seems like as well, he's been trying to kind of, there's a couple of parts throughout where he's watching Eben's character and being like, this is the one I need to watch.
The one who fights back.
Towards the end, he refers to him as the one who fights. But you even see that early on when Eben meets one of the townsfolk who has started to turn. Yeah. And he has to decapitate him.
Well, he's all tangled up in the swings.
The kid's swings. But
that is such a nice framed shot at the end.
When Marlowe and his number two come to look at it. The two of
them are standing there looking at him, and
beautiful
he's
shot.
Up.
Looks like it's probably one of those ones that came straight from the panel.
Yeah. Because
what I like about that,
particularly the way that there's a street light that just illuminates that bit, so they're almost in the cone.
But there's no dialogue in that scene. It's only there for about 30 seconds, and you could probably say it doesn't add much, but what I really liked about it was the fact that Marlowe is there, and Marlowe is looking real kind of questioning and considerate, but he also looks concerned. Yeah. And I took that from...
Shit, somebody's worked out how to kill us.
Shit, they know we can be killed now.
Yeah.
One of them accidentally got turned. Yeah. And now one of these fucking little pricks knows that we can be killed. I can't have that. And then when Eben uses the UV light, he goes, you're the one.
Yeah, and it is. It's very contemplative. Like, he's standing far enough back, he'd get gestures to two others to go around. But it's like, we're not all going to charge in. Yeah. Like, they send in one because they know there's something going on.
Yeah, he's just standing there, not afraid. What's he up to?
No, but also they started a generator and made a load of noise. Yeah. And he's like, he understands that this might possibly be a trap. And one goes in, it ends badly. Yeah. He expresses a lot of regret about that, but at the same time, when he goes into the house and is looking for him, he's like, right, we need to go and get him now. He's actually fucking shit up for us. Yeah,
he becomes a target then. But I would go so far as to say I would recommend this film on Danny Huston and Josh Hartnett. Vampires in general alone. Never mind the plot, never mind anything else. Just if you want some interesting vampires and some interesting vampire portrayals, this is a damn good film for it.
Yeah, no, this has some real nice moments in it.
Yeah, like between the bait scene, the carnage scene, the trencher scene, they're all...
The trencher scene is hilarious.
Yeah, we're trying to say non-spoilery here, but
the trencher scene, scene is hilarious. I think the initial pan over of the carnage is just so well done, and it's really nice to see something like, because normally with vampire films they're solitary, so to see a whole group, you're just going to town. Yeah. And to have it be this, and it probably very true to life to what would happen if something like this happened. Like, there's just people booting it around the place.
Yeah.
It's panic. Like, nobody knows what's going on. There's shit on fire because somehow stuff always catches on fire. The only thing it's missing is one opportune bastard looting somewhere.
One of the only other things that I wanted to talk about that I think I really liked about it was the way the violence kind of ramps up as the film goes along.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of it.
You don't see... It's cutaways.
It's the aftermath of it.
Or it's far removed. It's high up shots where, and then as the film goes on, you get to see a lot of the violence a lot more closer up to the point where you literally see somebody get decapitated by axe, swing by swing towards the end of the film.
But it's also like, how their proximity to the violence as well.
Yeah,
they're becoming more and more entrenched in it at the start.
Eben in particular.
They're just surviving, and then he's realising what needs to be done. And that you can't keep doing that. But he's also still trying to safeguard, in particular, Jake, his kid brother, from that violence. He's made the decision of, this needs to be done, and because it needs to be done, I'm going to be the person to do it. It is my duty to do it as the sheriff of this town. Yeah. But not only that, as the head of his family. He's there to protect, and he views the town as his family. So he's very much the one who's willing to put himself out there and take the risks and take all of this death on his conscience. Yeah. No, it doesn't. He's honourable.
Oh, definitely. No, that's what I was going to say. Is that I think the characters in this film are actually better than you would expect from a film of its kind. And for the rating that it's got like a 6.5 on IMDb, which is kind of standard vampire-y horror sci-fi fare.
No, he's extremely honourable, and he sticks by his principles for a lot of it. And the ending of it reflects that an awful lot too. And it's well worth watching for the ending as well.
Oh yeah.
But it was one of those ones that you can almost see which chapter was which trait.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way that the 20-minute sections are almost
like issues.
This is issue 1, this was issue 2, this was issue 3, this was issue 4. Which also means that it makes it quite easy to watch it in sections if you're not in the mood for sitting down for a 2-hour slog.
Well, I wouldn't call this a slog.
No, it is actually very easy to watch. It doesn't feel long. Yeah. It doesn't feel long. Like there's some movies that you're about halfway through it and you're going, oh God, kill me.
Yeah, are we only this far into it kind of thing?
For fuck's sake. This doesn't feel like a slog, but at the same time, if you do want to break it down, there are points kind of after each major set piece where it quietens down again. Yeah. In a build up to the next one. There are some nice breaks if you do prefer to watch it that way.
But I think this is why pacing in films is so important. Yeah. Not so that you can stop in the middle of it, but just it
bathroom breaks are important, okay?
But it's the peaks and valleys. It's what allows you to get more enjoyment because you're not constantly up going, oh, this is insane. You have these, oh, that was class, and then it calms down a little bit so you can kind of take stock of what's happened, and then, oh, something else insane is happening.
But at the same time as well, you're also dealing with the events of the previous scene the way they're dealing with the events of the previous couple of days. So generally they're also looking extremely shell-shocked for most of it. After each major kind of set piece happens, the survivors are all kind of sitting there looking a bit, oh, fuck me. And it takes it, like, by the time they've settled down into somewhere new that's safe, and it takes them, like, a little bit to get to the, oh, fuck, that really happened?
But I think there's one thing I'd like to talk about before we wrap up. Yes. Is there anything else you have?
Not really.
The minor spoilery, but not really. The vampire's plan is a bit shitty. Initial part of the plan, good. Town experiences 30 days of night, cut off.
Send in stranger, no hope of help. Off. That works.
Buffet, great. So towards the end of the film,
number one with the buffet, they are just. I thought that I had been under the impression that they were taking people away to keep them. They were obviously keeping people, but they did just rip out a lot of people's throats and leave them.
Where did you get that impression? I didn't get that at all. They're just killing people with glee and abandon.
In my brain, from the last time I'd watched this, I had been under the assumption that they had, because they send that girl out as bait and stuff like that.
No, they don't even seem to drain people fully.
No, they're just like,
it's like, oh, you're dead now. You're dead. The fun is gone. I'm going to move on to my next victim.
I had been under the assumption that maybe they were dragging people back to the ship.
That's a bit of a thing in the second film.
Yeah, and I think that's what may have happened. Is I watched the second one with Mia Kirshner in it, and it's just mashed bits of the two of them together in my head.
I think the same thing happened to me, because I was totally of the opinion that there was bits in the credits that tie into what I'm going to be able to give out to now, which is their plan, that kind of
That's
summarised it.
That's
But it's actually it's the start
one.
of the second film where you see all the news reports about what supposedly happened to Barrow. But yeah, so the vampire's plan is, right, come attack the town and then eat all people, and then to make sure that we don't get caught out because we don't want people to know vampires exist, because these vampires couldn't really just hide in plain sight because they don't look. Danny Houston, maybe if he wore some gloves and kept his mouth closed
and wore some sunglasses.
But
balaclava would be a good look on him.
But the rest of them,
fine in COVID.
The rest of them aren't passing for human.
No.
So they need to keep their existence a secret.
Yeah.
So they say, we're going to burn the town down.
Yeah, because there's being Alaska, there is an oil pipeline that runs alongside the town. So their plan is to punch into it, make it look like a tragic accident.
And burn the town to the ground.
And burn the town to the ground.
And I'm like, cool.
And they're kind of waiting around as well when they start doing this to mop up any survivors, because this is also anybody who's been hiding out that they haven't managed to eat will also obviously either die in the fire or flee the burning buildings. So their whole thing is... Well, we would assume
they're hanging around to mop up survivors. We don't actually know that for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of the assumption that I got, is they'll burn out the town and they'll just eat anybody who survives.
Yeah. Can I tell you why I think it's a shitty plan?
Okay.
Because fires don't decapitate people. And Head Vampire had told all the other vampires to decapitate all their victims so that they wouldn't turn into vampires.
Yeah.
So when the authorities come along and go, oh no, this town burnt to the ground, that's terrible, and all the people inside it burned as well. Wait a second. Why are their skulls all separate from the rest of their bodies?
Why is everybody in their attic?
Yeah,
or under their houses?
Yeah,
why are they hoping the houses will just collapse? Are they hoping the local wildlife will come through and scavenge what's left and hopefully scatter shit around the place?
And let's not forget poor old Gus's head on a stick.
Yeah.
Heads don't magically end up on sticks and fires either. And that's pretty far outside the town.
We had this same argument when we covered Brightburn. Not argument, but the same thing when we covered Brightburn, where he crashes the plane into the house at the end, and we were like, but plane crashes don't melt holes in heads.
And we also had the same thing with Homelander killing that movie producer and setting fire to his office.
Yeah,
because fires don't decapitate people. Yeah. That is a bad cover story, vampires.
Don't use one disaster to cover up another disaster.
Yeah, unless they have the same effect or the same end result.
Yeah.
But that was just like, that's not... For everything else, they've been smart vampires. They've been good, clever vampires. I just like, that lets them down.
Roll up a newspaper, bop them on the head.
Yeah, but that's a bad Marlowe. Think
it's a
better.
bad vampire.
Everything else is well thought out. And
yeah, I can deal with all the rest of it.
That one bit of him saying, decapitate everybody so they don't turn, and then burn the town to the ground so nobody knows what happened here, are mutually exclusive concepts.
Yeah.
But... yeah, no, that's just a nitpicky little thing, to be honest. It's not even that big of a plot hole.
That might have been something to do with the graphic novel that got...
Well, it is.
Yeah, and it's not the entire story.
Yeah, because in the graphic novel, as far as I know, they are kind of an offshoot group of vampires who have this plan.
Who come and are they burn down the town to cover it up.
To cover up what happened, because they're like, you shouldn't have done that, boys.
Because these ones are the messy ones that don't pick up their corpses after they eat.
Yeah.
And then Colin Robinson splits himself in a bit of blood.
Now what am I supposed to wear?
Also, crude oil does not burn with just a fucking match.
No, crude oil does not go up that fucking quickly.
No, especially not in those temperatures.
But, yeah, I mean, those are the smaller things that I can let pass.
That's just us being, really fucking nitpicky about it.
Yeah, their wastefulness.
Yes. Yeah, wasteful vampires, don't do that. Be like a True Blood vampire and cling from them up over a bathtub to drain everything into a bucket.
Yeah, you use every part of the human.
Yeah.
Wring them out for every last drop of blood.
Yeah. No.
But I think that about wraps it up for 30 Days of Night, unless there's anything else you'd like to add.
No.
Great fun flick. Nothing particularly deep to it, but perhaps better than you would expect. Not just your random vampire gory film.
No, actually, it's the vampires are a proper adversary.
Yeah, the vampires are proper. They are definitely.
It's a really, really elaborate game of cat chess.
Yeah. It's a nice kind of survival horror vibe to it as well.
It's very much got a haunted house feeling, but it's a whole town.
Yeah, there's definitely elements of the haunted house horror as well.
It's a bit like Event Horizon, you're trapped in a certain location.
Mm.
Now, in this location, they have multiple spots that they utilise, but at the same time, they're still stuck in a small area.
Yeah, they're still really confined.
Inhospitable. Because you can't make a break for it. They're 80 miles from anywhere. It says that they're cut off by, like, the roads are
Oh yeah, that's the whole point. Now you are stuck in this town. You just have to survive until daylight.
I think they destroyed snowmobiles and everything like that. Like, well, they basically seem to have burnt every single vehicle, so you're not going to be driving out of there, realistically.
Yeah, ain't nobody getting out.
So,
but yeah, no, I mean, if you haven't seen it, definitely recommend it.
Yeah, well worth a watch.
Well worth a watch. If you have seen it, go back and watch it. And those are your only two options. You either have or haven't seen it.
Really well as well.
No dodgy CGI, thankfully. Well, not real CGI, but the visuals hold up really well.
Yeah, it still looks really good. Massive praise for the makeup department for the vampire design.
Oh yeah, the vampires are definitely one of the high points.
They do look super off-putting. It is. They're just shy of that green sheen that Ham gets.
Yeah.
But they have that. It is that fever, sickly, clammy look to them that just.
Yeah. No, the vampires are probably the highlight of the film, which is good because it's a vampire film.
It is a vampire film, yeah. No, the vampires, the look of them and everything is really, really well thought out. It's really well executed as well because it never looks... You know, sometimes when you see vampires that are whited out, Twilight being, again, one of the worst examples of it because their ears aren't done.
Yeah.
It's really, really funny because they're all white and their ears are still their normal colour. This looks brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
Done in a really thoughtful manner.
Yeah, no, the film looks great. It definitely holds up. It's a real fun narrative film as well.
Yeah.
Plenty of gore.
Yeah. Nicely paced gore too, but you don't get overrun on the gore.
One or two bits of comedy.
One or two scenes I could have done without the dogs in particular.
Well, we never like seeing animals getting killed.
No. Again, Rampage, I can't even watch CGI gorillas.
But yeah, as usual, it comes with the MonoRants recommended stamp.
Yes.
The seal of approval.
Uh-huh.
And we will be back next week to give you another film seal of approval, but we haven't a clue what, because that's who we are and that's what we do.
Yeah, well, considering we had a massive trawl through CEX the other day and bought an ungodly amount of DVDs.
Yeah, we bought a whole bunch of DVDs. That will definitely give us some inspiration for future episodes, I think.
It was the €1 pile, so I don't feel too bad.
Oh yeah, we're not spending a whole lot of money on you guys
also,
or anything. Don't worry about that.
if anybody ever comes across a copy of The Cell, please send it to me because I can't find it anywhere.
Well, we'd have to give out our address.
I know.
That ain't happening.
But if somebody finds a copy of The Cell, send
Contact us.
Yeah.
And if you would like to contact us, you can find us on Twitter at RantsMono. You can find us on Instagram at MonoRants.
I'm Mondo from Fair City, what?
Oh no, not that prick. No, you can find us on MonoRants _the_boys on Instagram, and you can send your own rants to monorantspodcast@gmail.com. And if you can't get enough of us, you can head back and listen to some of our previous episodes. Otherwise, we will be back next week with our usual unknown film.
With Redacted.
With Redacted. Until then, guys, bye-bye.
We are Science Fiction Remnant.
This is the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
We are the Caribbean Science Fiction Network.
We are MonoRants.
We are One Chord Level 2 Podcast.
This